Planner Training Session 14, Issue Analysis and Sharing. Okay, so here's our issue list. We've been looking already at adding new issues and updating those and putting responses in, etc. Now we're going to look at analysis of them, and we have obviously our sort of table of issues here. We have our list, and we have any responses that might be relevant showing in the section at the bottom, and all of this display arrangement is controlled by the view. So we're currently in a view default, which means we get to see all of the issues. There's no filtering happening here. We can see the filter is off, and in fact there'd be a note of how many tasks have been filtered out if we could see tasks being filtered out. So filter is off. What we can do is we can go in and have a look at these views, and they will change substantially the data that we see in the arrangements for that data. So let's go and have a look at one for severe issues. Okay, so that's narrowed that down quite nicely. We can see we've got the filter on now, and therefore the filtered number of issues we've got is 4 from the original 11. So there's 7 that are not being displayed because they're outside of the filter settings. So our filter is on. We switch our filter off. We can see that goes back to the 11. But this has changed the arrangements as well. It's changed the data that we can see. We can see it's removed the responses pane, and it's changed the display of the columns, the order, etc. That we're looking at. Now we can still work with the data in here and open these issues up and respond to them and put some content in, etc. And in fact we can also edit this view further if we want to. So using edit view here, and this will of course load up the view we currently have, severe issues. We could in this form use the load here to change the loaded view as well, and we can see how this is filtering the data here. We've got severity greater than 3, here's 3, so we're filtering that out, and we've got a not closed status excluding items that are not closed. So that's nice and easy sort of view, but it's enabled us to get to that data very quickly. Also held within the view, as we mentioned, is the fact that it's not showing any responses. It's ordering by severity, which is what we want, so our most severe ones are first, working our way down. And we've chosen what we're going to do in terms of display columns. So if we wanted to switch some of these items off, like that, just to demonstrate that it can be done, and apply, we'll see those changes happening behind the scenes. We've gone down to now a much shorter set of data. So that's nice and easy to do, and in fact now we've got some changed ones here. We could choose to save this as our own view saved with the plan, rather than as one of the default preset ones. So let's just change this ever so slightly. Let's change, for example, the severity level up a bit, so we'll take it to 4. So we'll modify that rule there and apply that, and we can see that's taken away one of those results there. And we could also have a look for something else, perhaps where only the priority is also high. So let's add another rule element into there. So here we've got we'll give it a little rule element name, high priority, and the type we're interested in is where the priority is greater than or equal to a certain level, so let's say 2. Okay, so we've got that. We can save that bit into there, apply that. That's not obviously not quite severe enough to make a difference. Let's take it higher. Right, and that's in fact removed all of them. So let's come back down part way. And now we can see that it's brought us back down to just those 2. So these are severity greater than 4 and high priority items. So now we've got our new view that we're interested in. We can come to manage views here. We could give it a description, which are major issues, and we could give it, so as we know what we're going to say in there to people know when they're picking it what they're getting, and I can now use save as to give it a name. I can either choose to overwrite one of the existing plan related ones, but there aren't any here actually, and I can give it my own name instead just by typing into the box. So severe issues and high priority. There we go. So now we've got that saved, we can OK that. And in fact, now we'll see we can come back and switch back to the default view and come back anytime we want to now to our plan saved view, which brings us back to that grouping we set up earlier. So that's really easy to do. It's affected the chart here as well, the table, and in fact when I come to more charts I can see that we've got that again in that area, and our issue indicator, blob indicator, is using exactly the same set of minimalized data as well. When I come back and bring myself into a default view without any filtering being applied, we're back to our 11 issues, and here our charts are going to look a little bit more as we might expect them to, with the appropriate distribution of the data. So that's really nice and easy to do that sort of analysis. If I want to then take this data and use it somewhere else, I can do that really easily. Exactly the same as you did in risks and issues with a right click. So right click and I can take this table as I'm currently looking at it as an image or as a CSV. So let's take that as an image first of all. We'll just drop that into any supporting file, so we'll bring it over here into the spreadsheet. Just paste that into there. And then to bring alongside it, we could bring the table, or we could bring any of the charts we're interested in just by right clicking, copy to clipboard, and then pasting those again. And so we can bring back that in a graphical format, which is really nice for dropping into a report. The view, of course, gives us control over what exactly we're bringing back. So we might be bringing back all the issues that need to be responded to by Sue, for example. So we've run a filter for that. We've got the data back out, and in fact, if we wanted to bring the data out as a CSV instead, we could do that. So we give them the raw data instead. Exactly the same sort of idea. Down here we can copy the responses, and of course because we can use all responses as a display, we can get all those back in one chunk as well. So that's very easy for getting data out, the chart types, etc. Of course the best way of sharing our issue information is to give somebody the issue register in its entirety. Recommend to a friend here will allow us to copy the link they need to get hold of their own copy of Planner, and you can give them the SPN file with your issues in, and they can update them directly and give them back to you. Of course, if you just want to give them the data, or if you're swapping your data to another application, then this CSV output might not be quite good enough. It's not everything about the data, because about the issues, because it's whatever's set up in that view. So we do have a much more complete setup here in import export issues, where I can export my issues from here, and this allows me to get the full set of information out. So if I load from plan, here I get information for all the issues that we have, the full set of data for them, and for all the responses we have as well, hooking them into the various issue IDs. And this means from here I can paste this, I can copy this data from here, and I can then go and put it into another tool or give it to somebody in a spreadsheet. They can update that, and then I can load it back into here. So we do have a very good fully formatted data format for a data exchange. Really we should be using the right click, take to CSV just for quick bits of analysis, not where we're intending to get the data back in again. When we bring data back in, we can of course append or replace with that. So not a particularly long session, that one, but it's pretty straightforward, very similar to how we might have been working with risks as well. The view is the important part, not too much to get to grips with inside that, Pretty simple to save our new views, and then we can use those to pre-package the data types we're interested in sharing with people. Okay, so we're going to have a quick final planner session next on printing, and that will be the end of the planner training. Thank you very much.